Good evening and welcome to the National Sim Racing All-Star Challenge here at Atlanta. We are here for the open portion of the All-Star Challenge and qualifying just about to go underway here. But while we're going under qualifying, let me explain to you the the format for qualifying. So it's going to be 3 laps each driver gets in the open gets to take for their qualifying session, and it's going to be the average of 3 laps. So there's no hot lapping. It's just the 3 best laps for each driver here. And then the All Star format itself is people who are locked in are race winners from the last All Star race up to just before this All Star race. So from last season's All Star race all the way up to St. Petersburg. And the current top 10 in points, which is Mark Sikoshi, Adam DeFore, Ray Partridge, Tony Kurgel, Brian Wiggins, John Bittler, Robert Wiggins, Chris Norris, Justin Cope, and Colton English. They're locked into the All Star race. And then previous Gen 4 Cup Series All Star winners and previous Gen 4 Cup Series champions are also locked in. So qualifying, like I said earlier, is going to be 10 minutes long. Drivers get to put together 3 strong, consistent laps, and it will be the average of those 3 lap times that will determine qualifying position here at Atlanta. So the open format is after qualifying, drivers will have a chance to race their way into the All-Star race through the open race. So it's going to be 40 laps long, split into 2 segments of 20 laps each. And the top 2 drivers from each segment will transfer into the All-Star race. So that means 4 total drivers will transfer into the All-Star race from the open races. And there's also a fan vote, which looks like, I believe, is going to be a tight race between Adam Gracie and Jason Crumley for the fan vote. And whoever wins the fan vote, which is voted by fans, will be locked into the All-Star race as well. We're currently looking at Adam Gracie, who is currently leading the fan vote, getting his laps in. So fastest 3 lap average currently goes to Jonathan Flournoy, car number 02, with a 29.982 average lap time. And then behind them is Adam Gracie, who is currently second with a 30.119 average lap time. It's looking at Andy Reeves crossing the start-finish line to start his 3rd lap at speed. Looks like he's just gonna slow to a crawl. Elijah Grant, who already did his laps, a 31.675 for him, returning to pit lane right now. And it looks like that's everyone who's going to set a qualifying time. We still got about 5 minutes left here in the qualifying session. So just waiting for anyone to come out and do a qualifying run. Still nobody electing to try and set a fast 3 laps. I mean, to be fair, this is the new version of Atlanta, so it's a lot less bumpy and a lot less taxing on the tires than old Atlanta. So cars will be racing very close to each other here. But like I said earlier, the Open is going to be 40 laps of racing, split into 2 segments of, or halves if you want to think of it that way, of 20 laps each. And the top 2 at the end of each segment will transfer into the All-Star race. We got a night of exciting racing coming up here at Atlanta and in the National Sim Racing League for the All-Star race. And lots of interested drivers looking to cement their name in a very prestigious group of All-Star race winners. But currently at the top of the timing and scoring board for qualifying in the Open is the 0-2 of Jonathan Flournoy. But with the chaotic nature of Atlanta, I have to see if he'll maintain that lead by the end of, at least by the end of lap 20. So about 3 minutes left. Getting nice scenic shots of the very beautiful repaved Atlanta Motor Speedway, or if you want to call it Echo Park Automotive Speedway. But I mean, really, who calls it that? No one calls Atlanta Echo Park, besides I guess people who work at Echo Park. 2.5 minutes left. And still nobody looking to set a new to set a lap here. So I think qualifying is more or less taken care of, considering that it takes about 2 minutes to get up to speed and then get 3 laps in to be averaged out for your qualifying position. And in just a moment, or actually just in about 90 seconds, be transferring to the race portion of the Open to decide who makes it into the All-Star race and who goes home. So it should be very exciting here at Atlanta. 1 minute left. As actually someone has gone back out on track. It's the 27 of Dawson Kent getting back on track pretty late. I don't think we'll be able to set any laps since it's a 3-lap average, but at the very least, gives us something to look at. Coming to set his first lap is that Castrol number 27 of Dawson Kent. Car looks mighty twitchy on entry. Hopefully that won't cause any problems for him in the open as he'll try to punch his ticket to get in. But qualifying has concluded, and we can get to your starting lineup for the All-Star Open here at Atlanta. Starting on the pole is going to be the 02 of Jonathan Flournoy. And on his outside is going to be car number 17 of Adam Gracie. In third, it's going to be the 86 of Colt Ansley. On his outside is going to be the number 7 of Justin Ray. Rounding out your top 5 starters is going to be the 28 of Jason Crumley. Starting in 5th, and on his outside is going to be Johnny Taylor, who already has locked himself into the All-Star by winning at Texas a couple weeks ago. Behind them in row number 4, it's going to be Dawson Kent in car 27. And on his outside is going to be the 18 of Andy Reeves. Rounding out your top 10 is going to be the 26 of Robert Wiggins and the 4 of Elijah Grant, making up 9th and 10th place respectively. And rounding out your open of 11 drivers is going to be Chris Norris in car number 56.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for coming out for the open. I know this is a little bit of a smaller field for the open, but yeah.
Quick little message from series admin Lyle Mitchell that I had to mute because those are reserved for the drivers. If you would like to hear that message in full, consider joining National Sim Racing. But while we're here on the grid, big shout out to our series sponsor, IRD Racing out of Florida. They do everything when it comes to real-world racing, and they specialize in carburetors. And they also cater to all sorts of disciplines of racing too: circle track racing, road racing, especially drag racing. If you can whip it around a track fast, IRD Racing probably has something for you, especially in the field of fuel injection and carburetors. Very glad to have them on board, and there's a reason why people call IRD Racing the king of carburetors. So if you're looking to take your real-world racing program to the next level, don't be afraid to hit up the fine folks at IRD Racing to take your program to the next level. But the car's starting to peel out onto the back straightaway. Waiting for the green flag to drop here. And it's going to be Jonathan Flournoy leading the field to the green flag, hoping to stay in those top 2 positions by the time lap 20 is completed. Base car is in, and it's going to be Jonathan Flournoy leading this field of 7 cars in the open to the green flag. Green flag is out. Jonathan Flournoy is clear of Adam Gracie in car number 17. Gracie going to drop to the bottom. That leaves Justin Ray in car 7 as the only car on the outside, or as the first car on the outside. And he's got some work to make up, but he's got Elijah Grant and Dawson Kent forming up right behind him to help give him the push that he needs down the back straightaway here. But it looks like Gracie is already starting to pull away from that 86 of Colt Ansley. And already a move for the lead. Gracie moving to the inside of Flournoy as they come across the stripe to complete the first lap. And that lap lead is going to go to Adam Gracie. But Flournoy going to try to gonna try to hold it strong on the top. Oh, we see the 7 of Reagan in the wall. Elijah Grant having to avoid the 7, and he's gonna lose a little bit of momentum. But Gracie now firmly in control of this race on the bottom lane. Gonna try to drag Colt Ansley with him. Gonna go up high and then back down low. And Jonathan Flournoy with a huge run to the outside, dragging Dawson Kent with him as we approach lap number 3. So Flournoy now takes the lead away from Adam Gracie in car 17. And with a big run down the back straightaway, both him and Kent are going to get clear of car 17. So if this segment was to end right now, the 2 people getting in would be Jonathan Flournoy and Dawson Kent. But looks like everyone's more or less singling out right now, except for Jason Crumley in car 28, battling with Justin Ray for the 6th position. You see Flournoy now moving to the top of the racetrack as Dawson Kent getting pushed by Adam Gracie in car 17. So Dawson Kent, now your leader of the Open, and Flournoy starting to fall back with not a lot of help around him. Not a lot of help around him to keep his momentum up on the high side. And now Elijah Grant peeking to the inside of Flournoy. Flournoy is gonna aggressively block that 4 car to keep him behind him. But Crumley and Ray need to start working together if they want to catch the back end of this lead pack. Is running side by side like that is doing nothing but slowing each other down. It looks like they finally come to their senses and have singled up to try and make up the about half-second gap there is from them to Elijah Grant in car number 4. Dawson Kent still leading this thing 6 laps in as Colt Ansley went to the high side to try to have a run built, and Jonathan Flournoy says thank you very much, gonna take that position from you. But Ansley gonna battle back hard on the outside, but he doesn't have any help in it. But now he does, with Elijah Grant in the 4 car thinking about going up top, running more of the middle. 4 car does not look very stable. And now a little bit of separation from the top 2. And Flournoy, Ansley, and Grant. Ansley gonna file in back behind Elijah Grant as we're close to reaching the halfway point in this segment. And Jason Crumley has copped the back end, but Justin Ray left behind. He's gonna need something special. He's gonna need something special to happen for him to catch back up. Maybe a lucky caution to go his way. But as it stands, these 6 cars are gapping him quite handily. You can see Flournoy trying to gauge what's going up top. But everyone more than content to run the bottom. Now Flournoy making a charge on the inside of Adam Gracie in car 17. Gracie in the middle, but he's going to have Jason Crumley a ways behind as, Grant slides up the track a little bit, opens the door for Colt Ansley. They're dooring each other down the back straightaway here. 3 wide coming into turn 3. Who's going to budge first? And none of them do. They keep it steady 3 wide. But this is not doing nothing but costing each other time as Grant gets into Ansley. Ansley saves it. Very good job to not slide back up into Grant. But they are losing a lot of time to the cars in front trying to run 3 wide like this. This is the best thing that Dawson Kent and Jonathan Flournoy can see. Cars going 3 wide behind them. And they are kind of stuck here 3 wide as we approach the halfway point. They've already gapped to about 1.3 seconds ahead of this grouping of cars. And they still have not been able to break free from each other. It could definitely be swayed if Crumley decides to insert himself into this. But these guys are racing like it's the last lap. And they've cost a lot of time to each other. Ansley really loose on the inside. They're 3 wide once again as he tries to gather the car back up. Gracie's going to clear And now we're back to double file racing. But now the gap has extended to about 2.7 seconds from the back of the lead pack, which is Dawson Kent and Jonathan Flournoy, to Adam Gracie in car 17. They're going to really need to get packed up and work together a lot if they want to catch the top two before the segment ends. But luckily, it's the top two from both segments 1 and 2 that make it in. So we might have a heck of a race coming up for the final transfer spots. Now it looks like they've all finally dingled out here, but it's a little too late. They're well out of the draft of the leaders, falling to about 4 seconds behind now. So you have 7 laps to go in the open here, or for the first segment of the open, I should say. We got 7 laps to go, and it is just Dawson Kent and Jonathan Flournoy with a pretty commanding lead over Adam Gracie, Elijah Grant, Colt Ansley, and Jason Crumley. And then even further back is Justin Ray, all by himself, about 11 seconds behind the leaders. But coming to 5 laps to go in the first segment, and this has Dawson Kent and Jonathan Flournoy making it to the open written all over it. Colt Ansley gets into Elijah Grant. That was a great save by Grant, but he's going to lose some positions, and that car is going to be way, way loose. Let's get a replay to see what happened between them. It looks like Grant just came down on Ansley and just barely sent him around, but very lucky for Grant that he was able to save it. Great save by that 4 car. Looks like he's just about to lose the draft of the cars in front. Meanwhile, for the lead with 4 laps to go here in the segment, it's Dawson Kent and Jonathan Flournoy duking it out. If I was Flournoy, I would be very comfortable just riding behind Kent, not trying to show my hand at all, because you're making it into the open. No, not the open. You're making it into the All-Star race if you just finish second in this segment. And the only cars behind are about 5 seconds behind. So coming to 2 laps to go in the segment here. But will we see Flournoy try to make a last-second move to for bragging rights in the open, considering that both these drivers are locked in, just to say, hey, I won the open, I got speed. But coming to the final lap here of the first segment, it's Dawson Kent and Jonathan Flournoy, first and second by a country mile, about 5.3 seconds.
Yellow flag. Slow her down.
Caution's coming out at the beginning of the lap instead of the end of lap 20. But either way, these two were going to make it. So 2 drivers locked in to the All-Star race. It's going to be Dawson Kent and Jonathan Flournoy finishing first and second in the first segment to punch their ticket into the National Sim Racing All-Star race. So with that, Flournoy and Dawson Kent both going into pit lane. And it's to be seen whether they'll exit pit lane, considering that they've already locked themselves in. Looks like Dawson Kent isn't going to, and it looks like Jonathan Flournoy isn't going to. So we have a 5-horse race for the final 2 transfer spots. Adam Gracie and the rest of the field diving into pit lane. I believe everyone's going to take fuel and tires, but a pretty slow entrance into the pit stall for Gracie. That's going to cost him a little bit of time. But he's very close to the exit of pit road. Yeah, he's going to fire off first. Elijah Grant with a good pit stop, going to come out in second. Colt Ansley in third, then Justin Ray in fourth. And Jason Crumley rounding out the 5 cars contending for the final transfer spots. I believe the pace car lights are going to be turned off this time by. So we'll be going green flag racing next time by. And it looks like it's gonna be Colt Ansley going to lead the field to the green flag to kick off the second segment. So Adam Gracie on the inside, and Elijah Grant going to be right behind Colt Ansley. Gracie's had a fast car when he's been in the draft, but we haven't really seen a lot out of the rest of this field, especially Jason Crumley, who's really been hanging back for a lot of this. And he's not a lock for the fan vote, as the current driver he's actually tied with Dawson Kent, who's already locked in. So maybe there's some sort of tie-breaking mechanic there. It's 10 votes each for Dawson Kent and Jason Crumley. But I believe with Dawson Kent already locked in, that would put the current fan vote in favor of Jason Crumley. The pace car is in. It's going to be Colt Ansley leading the field to kick off the second segment.
Green.
On lap 24 out of 40 as they cross the stripe. Colt Ansley with a decent start. Adam Gracie going to be right behind him, and they all file into an almost nice and neat line. Justin Ray and Jason Crumley going side by side as Crumley files in right behind Ray, and now Adam Gracie moving to the inside of Colt Ansley for the lead. Elijah Grant's going to be hungry to get into the All-Star race, and Crumley and Ray need to stop trying to pass each other, because their stated goal is to remain in the draft and try and make their way into the All-Star race. And luckily for them, they've caught back up to the lead group of cars. But if they keep doing that, it's going to put one or both of them far away from the draft, like we saw at the end of the first segment, where there was three-wide racing that completely allowed the top two to sail away. As you see at the top of the shot, Ray looking to the inside of Crumley. That's gonna drag both of them back just a little bit. As Adam Gracie still leads the way. Crumley and Ray still side by side, losing a lot of time to the lead group of cars. And now Crumley having to push Ray back to the lead group of cars if they're still able to latch on to the draft here. They're very slowly catching the lead pack, and now Crumley looking to the inside of Justin Ray. This is just as I was saying, they were working together. Adam Gracie still leading the way, and the top two at the moment is Adam Gracie and Colt Ansley. But I believe Crumley's gonna start catching on to the back end of Elijah Grant's draft, bringing both of these drivers into contention now. But Justin Ray pretty far out of this main grouping of cars. And now Crumley gonna try to go to the outside of Grant. Looks like no dice entering turn one. Now Grant looking to the inside of Colt Ansley for the final transfer spot. A little bit of contact between the 4 and the 86. Keeps it straight. And then, moves up a little bit into the 86. Boots him to the top side. And Ansley gonna file in right behind Jason Crumley. And this is exactly what Justin Ray wanted, because this is going to allow him to catch up to the lead pack here. With 10 laps to go, Colt Ansley really dealt a raw deal there. As now Elijah Grant looking pretty hungry to make his way to the lead, but Crumley looking to the top side with help from Colt Ansley. So Crumley up into the final transfer spot. Contact between Grant and Ray. Ray tried pushing into the corner. That got Grant really sideways. And now Crumley going to try to go to the outside of Gracie. And this is exactly what the cars behind want. They want the two people in front to not work with each other and pull away and help them bunch back up. And now Crumley going to use the drive off the top side to pull ahead of Adam Gracie in car 17. Going to clear him into turn one. Nice move by that 28. And here comes Colt Ansley for the final transfer spot on the outside. Almost contact between cars 86 and 17, but they keep it together. Jason Crumley pulling out to about a car length lead over car 17 and 86. 8 laps to go in the open here, and these guys are trying everything. Elijah Grant moving to the high side to try and help Colt Ansley around that 17 car. And now Ansley, big sideways moment for the 86. Got loose, he got tapped by the 4. And, that's going to be his all-star hopes. Dashed for car 86. Spins it around, doesn't really get any damage. But he's going to be... the caution actually came out for that. So a late caution is what's going to save Colt Ansley from dropping out of the All-Star race. So maybe one last gasp is in order for car number 86, but the field catching up to the pace car on the back straightaway. See Elijah Grant with just a little bit of nose damage from that. If I was Elijah Grant, I'd come into pit lane just in case I had any damage, because you're already at the back. It's not gonna hurt if you pit. And nobody deciding to go into pit lane except for Colt Ansley. It's going to be really telling what tire difference is going to make here at Atlanta, because cars like these, you're going upwards of 200 miles per hour entering the high bank turns of a 1.5 mile track at near full throttle. So that 86 is gonna have an ace up its sleeve, I'd presume, considering that he's getting tires and these guys are not. Now, I don't know how much of a difference it will make, but if there is a difference that it will make, Colt Ansley looks like he'll be the only person to be reaping those benefits. Because we got 2 laps to green. It looks like we'll have a 3-lap shootout. Looks like we'll have a 3-lap shootout for the only restart of this second segment. Colt Ansley finally pulls it out of pit lane. Looks like he got all his damage repaired. And with that fresh set of tires, it's going to be very interesting to see if he can reap the benefits of those fresher tires. 14-lap fresher tires on car number 86. He's back on track with all his with any and all damage that he got repaired. Looks like maybe even a little bit of tape on that car. So, just a reminder that the top 2 finishers of this race, will make it into the All-Star race. But it's going to be Jason Crumley leading Adam Gracie and this field of 5 cars to a 3-lap shootout to decide who makes it into the National Sim Racing All-Star race. Base car is in, and it's up to Jason Crumley to hit the loud pedal. Green flag is out for the final restart of the Open. And Crumley out to a good start. Taking a look at Colt Ansley, stuck behind Justin Ray right now. But he's going to catch right up to the back end of Gracie down the back straightaway here. I'd imagine that Ansley's going to be able to have more grip than everyone through these corners. Going to 2 laps to go. Gracie looking to the high side to get around Crumley. Ray going to push Gracie up on the high side. Colt Ansley going to try to drop down to the bottom to help out the 28 car. Side by side, 2 rows deep to make it into the All-Star race. Ansley gonna slide up high in front of Ray and gonna follow Gracie down to the bottom. This might boot Jason Crumley out of the All-Star race as Colt Ansley sticking strong right behind that 17 car. White flag in the air for Adam Gracie and Colt Ansley for the final transfer spot into the National Sim Racing All-Star race. You can see in the back, Crumley and Ray side by side, but they're a ways behind these top 2. Gracie and Ansley going at it about half a second ahead of Crumley and the rest of this field. And it looks like it's going to be Adam Gracie and Colt Ansley punching their ticket into the National Sim Racing All-Star race, being the last 2 drivers to make it in through the open after the second segment. So congratulations to them. I don't think I was able to get results, but your results up on the screen in just 1 second. It's Adam Gracie, then Colt Ansley, your two people who made it in through the final segment of the Open, then followed by Jason Crumley, Elijah Grant, and Justin Ray, who did not make it. Dawson Kent and Jonathan Flournoy made it in from being first and second in the first segment. And then Johnny Taylor's already locked in. Andy Reeves, Robert Wiggins, and Chris Norris. Wiggins is already locked in. Reeves and Norris are. Let me check the points standings. Chris Norris also is locked into the All-Star race. So really, the only person who did not make it from this is going to be Elijah Grant, Justin Ray, and Andy Reeves. Those are going to be the people going home from tonight's event. Don't go anywhere. We got the All-Star race just up next. All right, welcome back to the National Sim Racing All-Star Challenge. We got a minute left in qualifying here for, or not qualifying, sorry, practice before qualifying is how I should say it. And we got 16 drivers, if I'm not mistaken. This looks like 16 drivers registered for this All-Star race, so a much bigger field than the Open. This race will be 90 laps long with a few interesting twists thrown in to make it truly an all-star race. So, as I've stated in the Open, locked into the all-star race are recent race winners, so from the previous all-star race all the way up to St. Pete, which was last week, and the current top 10 in points for the 2026 B season, previous Gen 4 Cup Series all-star winners, previous Gen 4 Cup Series champions, so Tony Kurgel, and the top 2 finishers from each Open segment, and as we saw earlier was Jonathan Flournoy, Dawson Kent, Colt Ansley, and Adam Gracie, locking themselves in through the Open. So we will have 3 segments, and I believe that the segmenting is 30, 30, 30. So the race will be split into thirds. And the winners of each segment have an incentive to lead at coming to the end of the segment. And that incentive is that they will start on the front row for segment 3. So the winners of segments 1 and 2 will start on the front row for the final segment of the All-Star Challenge. So there's going to be lots of incentives to be up front. And Jason Crumley has locked himself into the All-Star race via the fan vote. So he will also be in this race despite not making it through the Open. But they're racing for $1 million for the National Sim Racing All-Star Challenge. And qualifying is exactly the same as it is in the Open. It is the average of 3 laps that will decide your qualifying position. So no heater fast laps. Just gotta hit 3 clean fast laps to determine your qualifying position. As we look at Tony Kurgel, defending series champion, getting his laps out on track right now. That nice looking number 13 car. Getting ready to start his final lap right across the stripe right now. Just has 1 more lap to set, and this number 13 is looking very fast. But we've seen drivers do very well at super speedways like John Bittler and Mark Sikoshi. So the title of All-Star winner is up for anyone who has locked themselves in, and we should be treated to a very fun event. Tony Kurgel starting to finish his 3-lap run, coming across the stripe. His average time is a 29.851. That's going to put him top of the boards right now. Other drivers just finishing up their 3-lap runs. Chris Norris, it was on the back end of the top 10 in points, but either way, he has still locked himself into the All-Star race. So he's finishing up his third and final lap right now, and let's see what time he will set coming across the stripe. An average time of 30.069, good enough for 8th place for Mr. Chris Norris in car 56. Ray Partridge, who won the season opener at Talladega, knows his way around these draft tracks, coming out of turn number 4 in car 29 across the stripe. Let's see what time he'll set. 29.965 average for Ray Partridge. That's good enough for 4th. But the current person on pole right now is the 88 of John Bittler. He set a 29.890 average lap time to bring himself to the pole of the All-Star race. So Ray Partridge diving into pit lane. Dawson Kent locked himself into the All-Star race through the open. Doing his laps right now on the back end of his 3rd and final lap, as he had a little bit of internet issues. Seems down the backstretch, but that shouldn't affect his lap time too badly. Coming across the stripe, let's see what the average time will be for him. 30.029, good enough for 6th. Mark Sikoshi, getting up to speed, just did his first lap. But those Mark Sikoshi Inc. cars have been looking very fast. He's got his teammate John Bittler on pole. Brian Wiggins, his other teammate, or I'm trying to remember, are they teammates? A lot of things have happened over the off season. Let me just make sure that my team history is correct. I'm actually mistaken. It's just Mark Sikoshi and John Bittler together on Mark Sikoshi Inc. And Brian Wiggins, currently in 8th, made his own team during the off season. Brian Wiggins Racing, and they have been already a proven winner with Ray Partridge going to victory lane at the beginning of the season at Talladega. Mark Sikoshi just finishing up his 3rd lap, coming across the stripe. Let's see what time he'll set. Looks like it's going to be pretty fast. Average time of 29.826. New pole sitter Mark Sikoshi with a 29.826 ousts John Bittler for the pole of the All-Star race. But there's one person who can throw a wrench in the Mark Sikoshi Inc. front row lockout here, and that's the 94 of Nicholas Pressey. Looking to spoil the MSI party, making up the front row, but he doesn't have a lot of time to do it. I think he'll be able to get his qualifying laps done just before the timer expires. Coming into turn 3, that car is looking mighty fast. So currently on his 2nd lap, trying to upset the balance that Mark Sikoshi Inc. has had on the front row. And if he can separate that 8 and 88 car, it will be pretty big for the tempo that this race will bring. As we saw at Talladega, how Mark Sikoshi and John Bittler were able to control the field just by those two drivers working together. Very competent, I mean, very skilled, I should also say, plate racing drivers, and they'll put their mettle to the test. But coming out of turns 3 and 4, Nicholas Pressey to finish his final lap. Let's see what time he'll set as he crosses the stripe. Nicholas Pressey looking very fast. Average lap time of 29.846 for Nicholas Pressey. That moves him into the second position. So he will break up the front row lockout of Mark Sakoshi and John Bittler by inserting himself into second place. But that presents a whole new challenge for him, that with that, Mark Sakoshi will start on pole, and then John Bittler will start right behind him in third. So Pressey gonna already be having to deal with teammates when the green flag drops, because he's gonna have the Mark Sakoshi Inc. duo of Mark Sakoshi and John Bittler already pushing each other on the start. So qualifying, everyone has done their qualifying laps and now just waiting for the session to cool down so we can get to your starting lineup in just one moment. But in terms of credits being thrown around, there's a lot of credits being thrown around for National Sim Racing All-Star Races. 25,000 credits to the Segment 1 winner and $25,000 to the Segment 2 winner are awarded. And those two will start at the front row for the final segment. And whoever wins the whole darn thing gets 1 million credits. So a very solid payday. But let's get to your starting lineup for the National Sim Racing All-Star Race. Oh, that's the wrong graphic. Starting on pole, it's going to be the 8 of Mark Sakoshi. On his outside is going to be Nicholas Pressey in car number 94. Starting in third is car 88 of John Bittler, looking to win his first All-Star race for Mark Sakoshi Incorporated. And he's got Justin Cope on his outside. Starting in fifth, rounding out your top 5, is going to be defending series champion Tony Kurgel in car number 13, and Jonathan Flournoy, a strong qualifying performance from him, locked himself in through the open, starting in 6th. Talladega winner Ray Partridge, car number 29, starting on the inside of row number 4 with Dawson Kent, who locked himself in from the open, in car number 27 on his outside. I just realized that it wasn't showing my ticker. We press onwards. Adam DeFore starting in 9th with Brian Wiggins rounding out your top 10 in car number 3. Jason Crumley starting just outside the top 10 in 11th, the fan vote winner, and then Robert Wiggins in car 26 starting on the outside of row number 6. Chris Norris in car 56 starts on the inside of row number 7 with Colt Ansley, who locked himself in from the open on the outside of row number 7. Adam Gracie on the inside of row number 8 in 15th, and rounding out your field of 16 cars is the 45 of Colton English in 16th position. So this field of 16 drivers all ready to go here for tonight's event and for their chance at 1 million credits here for the National Sim Racing All-Star Challenge. All right, there we go. Had to do a quick little emergency fix, but pace car is in, and we are about to go green for the National Sim Racing All-Star Challenge. It's going to be Mark Sakoshi leading the field to the green flag. Green flag is out for the National Sim Racing All-Star Challenge. Nicholas Presley with a good start. Going to be dead even with Mark Sakoshi as they fire across the start-finish line. He's even going to pull ahead of the 8 car coming into turn 1. Mark Sakoshi still on the inside of car number 94 with help from John Bittler right behind him. Side by side as they fire out of turn number 2. No one daring to make it 3 wide just yet on lap number 1. Nicholas Presley going to edge ahead on the outside as Dawson Kent trying to keep Jonathan Flournoy in check right in front of him. Flournoy a little bit loose, so he's going to slide back a little bit, and now he's going to be the lone man on the far outside. He's going to be freight trained by the 2 lines inside, going to find his way right behind Brian Wiggins. Not the start that Flournoy wanted. But back up front, Mark Sakoshi and Nicholas Presley having a duel to begin this race. Justin Cope not as connected to the back end of the 94 as the 88 is, and that's definitely giving Mark Sakoshi the upper hand as his teammate is able to help his boss lead yet another lap as we go to lap number 3 out of 90. Remember that the segments are split into 30-lap segments, so on lap number 30, the caution flag will fly, and that will set one of the front row drivers for the final segment. So lots of incentives for hard racing throughout this entire event. But Mark Sakoshi looks like he's going to be one tough customer to pass, as Nicholas Presley not able to make anything happen. Going to try to make a charge on the outside as they cross the stripe to start lap number 4. Presley with a big run into turn number 1, but he's not going to be able to get clear of Mark Sakoshi just yet. Justin Cope and Dawson Kent pushing for all that they're worth right behind Presley, but Bittler doing a great job keeping Sakoshi in line with that number 94. And since they're taking the shorter way around the track, that's gaining all the time that they lost down the front straight back. And Sakoshi going to nose ahead just at the stripe for lap number 5. Two by two, about 4 rows deep, and then it starts getting a little more strung out. As you can see Chris Norris at the edge of the shot, the last car in the shot. But I think a big run's coming for the outside right here. Here comes Nicholas Presley with a big head of steam with help from Justin Cope coming into turns 1 and 2. Sakoshi not able to clear the block just yet, but he's going to be clear on exit. Will he try to slide up in front to help John Bittler out and make it a Mark Sakoshi Mark Sakoshi Inc. leading the way? But it looks like John Bittler not going to ditch his boss just yet, but he is clear of that 94 car. But what does Tony Kurgel do? First car side by side with that number 94. If he can get a run, he can potentially lead that outside line. And we know Tony Kurgel is very good on the plate tracks here. He's clear of car 94. Does he try to go high? Looks like Bittler and Sakoshi are electing to go high here, and Kurgel's going to follow them through. So Presley's still leading the outside line, but these top 3 are going from top to bottom quick, not allowing for any other lines to form. Currently Partridge having to battle with Presley. As looks like that bottom lane is really starting to be the dominant one. That high side just slowly losing momentum. And Ray Partridge has moved himself into the 4th position. Adam DeFore and that 5 car getting past Presley with help from Dawson Kent. Justin Cope sees the writing on the wall. He's going to bail to the inside. Presley with no room to dive to the inside, and now Wiggins is going to capitalize on that. Presley was not able to shut the door. Wiggins able to poke his nose in there just enough to make that 94 uncomfortable. So Presley's still sliding back, but now Justin Cope and Adam DeFore going at it for the 6th position here, as this might be a lifeline for Presley, but he decides to stop the bleeding and jump to the inside. Adam DeFord does the same. Only car on the outside right now is a 17 of Adam Gracie. And he's got Jason Crumley on his inside. If I was Gracie, I would just let Crumley by and then try to just latch on to the back end of this lead pack. Jonathan Flournoy finally getting past Nicholas Pressey, as this field really starting to single out Justin Cope going to the top side here. And that's going to allow Flournoy to get right past him. But it's Mark Sakoshi and John Bittler leading the way. Sakoshi has led almost every single lap from the pole thus far. And it doesn't look like he's going to be interested in giving that up anytime soon. But all it takes is one little slip up to have this horde of hungry drivers right behind you to take a peek to your inside. So Mark Sakoshi can't check out just yet. As we see Dawson Kent getting shuffled to the high side, he's gonna slide back right behind Brian Wiggins in 6th. Jonathan Flournoy with a big head of steam to the outside of Adam DeFore as they cross the stripe. But he's going to lose the position to Justin Cope, because Flournoy doesn't have anyone to help him on the outside. And now DeFore thinking about making it high on Dawson Kent. Dawson Kent going to give him the room, but Justin Cope going to drop down and get past that number 5 car. And DeFore thought about trying to get to the inside, but Flournoy was there. So lots of racing going on here at Atlanta, but everyone all packed up in a single file line with the exception of Adam DeFore and Dawson Kent, who went up high and now is going to get passed by Justin Cope. And Kent's going to file in right behind that number 59. So we look at Ray Partridge, who is thinking about trying to get to the inside of Tony Kurgel, not able to get there just yet. Needed just a little bit more of a run, and he could have poked his nose there. This is definitely a race where you have to take any opportunity when you get them. As you see Brian Wiggins firmly blocking that inside line from Justin Cope, who had a big head of steam out of the corner, but thanks to that well-timed block was able to prevent Wiggins from losing a spot and some more from freight training. But your top 4 is Sakoshi, Bittler, Kurgel, and Partridge, with Wiggins right behind him. Brian Wiggins is going to go to the inside. He's got Justin Cope hounding him on the outside. And it looks like Ray Partridge going to try to go high to help Cope out. And maybe these two can try and break up the stranglehold that this top 3 of Sakoshi, Bittler, and Kurgel have on this all-star field. Cope going to get around Wiggins, and Partridge going to go up high to give Cope that very essential draft here at Atlanta. These two might be trying to work together to achieve a common goal, and that goal is to win at least one of the segments. That's going to be hard to do when you have Mark Sakoshi and John Bittler leading the way here. I have a feeling Tony Kurgel is going to pounce at any opportunity that comes up in front of him. And we see Justin Cope stuck on the high side right next to Brian Wiggins, and Wiggins going to nose ahead in turns 3 and 4. But Cope with a run off the corner, able to hang tight with that 3 car despite not really having any help. And now Dawson Kent going to the outside to help the 59 out just a little bit. Tell you what, that 59 car is starting to get moving on that outside line just by himself. Side by side with Ray Partridge. But the more that they do this, the more that they're going to start slipping away from the leaders, which is exactly what they're doing right now. About 0.5 of a second separating Kurgel and Partridge. But with a big shove from Brian Wiggins, Partridge is going to get clear of Cope. And it looks like he's going to try to drag Brian Wiggins around that 59 car. Dawson Kent going to abandon that outside line and go to the inside. But now Ray Partridge helping out the 59 car by going up high, giving that 59 a big tug. Wiggins gonna try to get past the 59 in 1 and 2. No dice for car number 3, but a little bit of contact between cars 3 and 59. That's gonna kill the momentum of Cope. And Flournoy and Kent both had to check up to not drill the 59. Great save by Cope, but I doubt that he's going to be too happy about that because he was trying to make that outside line work and made contact with another driver, which completely killed his momentum. Going to have to do a lot of work in these last 9 laps to close out the segment if he wants a shot at winning the segment. Not impossible, but it's definitely going to be very hard as he's battling with Dawson Kent for the 6th position. It's Kent with a little bit of internet issues coming across the stripe. Cope should be able to clear Kent right now, and he will. Now the question is, does he drag Dawson Kent with him, or does he abandon Flournoy? And it looks like he's just gonna do whatever he thinks is fastest right now. Try and catch up to the back end of Brian Wiggins and association Ray Partridge and the rest of this field. Or not this field, but the rest of this lead pack. Seven laps to go in the first segment here. And Mark Sakoshi has led almost every single lap. John Bittler more than happy to be the car right behind him. Tony Kurgel really hasn't budged from 3rd place. And more or less just taking care of his stuff and filling that 88's rear view mirror to make sure that he does not get a moment to breathe. But looks like the 5 cars that will be competing for the win in segment 1 is going to be Mark Sakoshi, John Bittler, Tony Kurgel, Ray Partridge, and Brian Wiggins. Those top 5 drivers have separated by about 2.5 seconds to Justin Cope, and by association, the rest of the field. So Mark Sakoshi, in a very favorable spot right now, has a teammate right behind him, and that teammate very loyal to him, not going to try and pull a fast one on him, at least not that I would think anytime soon. But the person who throws that balance into question is going to be the 13 car in 3rd place of Tony Kurgel. If Kurgel can just poke a nose to the inside of Bittler to force him up high, he can really disrupt the drafting between Sakoshi and Bittler, and then he'll have a lot more freedom to make a move for the win. 2 laps to go in the first segment of the All-Star race. Looks like Ray Partridge has slid back a little bit now. White flag for the first segment. Lap 29 out of 90. Does John Bittler try to pull a fast one on Mark Sakoshi to try and secure himself a front row starting spot in the final segment to give himself a great chance at eternal glory in national sim racing? But it looks like he's not going to be able to do that. It's going to be Mark Sikoshi out of turn 4. He's going to be starting on the front row for segment number 3 as they cross the line to start lap number 30. Or okay, maybe that's different than the maybe it's different than the Open, because the Open, the segments were defined on the beginning of the lap, and it looks like this is going to be at the conclusion of lap number 30. Bittler going high, and Tony Kurgel going to try to make a charge on the inside. He's actually going to make it work. Kurgel gonna get ahead of car number 88 coming across the stripe. Waiting for the segment break. But I guess we're still going to keep going. It's Wiggins and Kurgel on the inside trying to break up the 8 and 88 of Sikoshi and Bittler. Sikoshi running up high to give his teammate as much draft as possible through the corners. Kurgel and Wiggins trying to keep them up there and doing a good job at it. Kurgel just hanging on to the quarter panel of the 88, preventing him from dropping low. Still side by side for second place. Kurgel about dead even with Bittler. He's making very incremental gains on that 88 car. I think soon enough he'll be able to get around Bittler. But the question is, when does Mark Sikoshi drop to the bottom, since he knows that is the fastest way around this track? But Wiggins doing a great job of keeping Kurgel in this fight to separate Sikoshi and Bittler, but they got a great run out of the corner. Kurgel still side by side with Bittler, keeping it very close to each other. But Kurgel going to edge ahead on the inside line in 1 and 2. He's going to receive help from Wiggins. And still stuck at dead even with that 88 car. Kurgel's got to be wondering what else does he have to do to get around Bittler and wedge himself between the MSI duo. A good drive into turns 1 and 2 by Kurgel. That might be the key, as he's going to actually pull up a little bit alongside Sikoshi as well, coming down the back straightaway. Sikoshi got a great run off the corner, but a definite better lap this time by Kurgel compared to Bittler. But Mark Sikoshi staying up high and doing a great job of helping Bittler out to not allow Kurgel to separate them. But when you're running a higher line, you also are using up a little bit more life in those tires. So Kurgel might be playing for the long game here. And Kurgel almost had the run off, but it looks like he got a little bit loose and had to get out of it. And Bittler's going to clear car 13. So now Wiggins looking to the outside of Kurgel. Maybe he thinks that he could do a better job trying to split apart cars 8 and 88. But now these drivers are running the high line here. And further back for 5th, Ray Partridge has dropped back into the clutches of Adam Gracie and Justin Cope. Cope stuck on the outside. But for the lead, John Bittler moves to the inside of Mark Sikoshi to take the lead for the first lead change of tonight's event. Kurgel gets in the outside wall a little bit. That's going to be a big loss of momentum. He might even lose the draft from that, as he got sent really high up the track. But the caution finally comes out. I believe that was a planned caution. Let me just double check my sources. Yes, it is a planned caution. So John Bittler is going to be starting on the front row, since he was the leader at the time of the segment ending. And now they're just trying to catch up to the pace car to get everyone bunched back up again. As whoa, avoidance from Wiggins, who didn't expect Bittler to be slowing down that much. A little bit of a scare for car number 3. But I presume everyone is going down for a fresh set of Goodyear tires. Yeah, that's definitely going to be the case. I don't think anyone's going to try to stay out and gamble on it. But now the question is, how well of a pit stop does Mark Sikoshi get to, if he'll stay ahead of the cars behind? Because if they can get separated, that's gonna be a big blow to both Bittler and Sikoshi, because they were working phenomenally well together. So taking a look at Sikoshi's pit stop. Coming out. It looks like he'll just barely... Ooh, actually, he's actually going to lose a couple of spots to Partridge and Kurgel. So it's going to be John Bittler coming out first, and then Tony Kurgel. And yeah, Sikoshi lost a lot of spots on pit lane. Went from 2nd to 6th, it looks like, as even Dawson Kemp's out ahead of him. So a big separation between cars 88 and 8. So your top 5 coming to this restart is going to be John Bittler, Tony Kurgel, Ray Partridge, Nicholas Pressey, and Dawson Kent. Then outside of the top 5, it's going to be Jonathan Flournoy in car 02, then Colt Ansley, Brian Wiggins, Adam DeFore, and Colton English. outside line, going all the way near the wall to try to get as big of a run as they can get. As the pace car pulling into pit lane, it's going to be John Bittler leading the way to the first restart of the National Sim Racing All-Star Race.
Green flag.
And green flag is out. Kurgel did not get a good start at all on that restart, and Ray Partridge is almost going to be able to clear him coming into turn number 1. Bittler might have gotten too good of a start since he does not have anyone right behind him to help him out. Would not be surprised if Partridge tries to... Oh, big contact with Kurgel. Cars going around in the back. Oh, lots of cars involved. Kurgel hits the inside wall. We can see that's Pressy involved. Looking at Sakoshi does not have a front bumper. Big smash him up on the back straightaway. Let's get a second look at what caused that, because that was if that doesn't shake up this all-star race, I don't know what will. So currently looking at the 27 of Dawson Kent. And it looks like he just makes contact with Kurgel. Kurgel's trying to save it, and Kurgel just gets loose, gets back into Dawson Kent. That gets both of them into the wall. I believe that collects Pressy hard in the outside wall. It's kind of hard to tell. Yeah, that's Pressy in the 94. And then Dawson Kent just comes right back down into Robert Wiggins and Chris Norris and Mark Sakoshi. And that was really all that she wrote. Just a massive accident that took out Nicholas Pressy. And I would not be surprised if Mark Sakoshi, if that's going to be if that's damage that even may be repairable, you might be able to just affix a new front bumper to that. But who knows what aero performance damages it will have at a track that is very largely dependent on aerodynamics. But to illustrate how big of a shakeup that was for the field, your top 5 right now is John Bittler, Ray Partridge, Colt Ansley, Adam DeFore, and Brian Wiggins. So Ansley, who locked himself in on the final segment of the Open, is now starting in 3rd. Looks like this time by the pace car lights will come off, and we'll be going green flag racing next time by. The field doubling up right now as we just crossed the halfway point. So 44 laps to go here at Atlanta. Multiple cars going 1 lap down. Let's take a look at Mark Sakoshi, who was able to escape going 1 lap down. Let's see the state of that front bumper. It looks like they're able to attach it to the car. So we'll have to see how well that number 8 car handles in the latter half of this race, because he took a pretty serious lick on Dawson Kent. But the cars that are coming out of pit lane just starting to join the back end of the pack here. And John Bittler once again going to lead him to the green, and once again he will not have his team owner Mark Sikoshi anywhere near him. Instead, he's got a very hungry Colt Ansley right behind him and a Ray Partridge who knows how to win at the draft tracks. But Bittler giving himself a generous amount of space between him and the pace car. Pace car is going to pull into pit lane. It's up to John Bittler to hit the gas whenever he wants to. Green flag is out. Great start for Colt Ansley and John Bittler. Ansley's going to be able to clear the outside line. Ray Partridge did not get a good start at all. That entire outside line kind of got bunched up. And Ansley and Bittler able to pull out to about a 4/10 of a second lead over Partridge and DeFore. Wiggins going to slide up in front of Partridge, and they are all spread out through the back half of the field here. Colton English thought about making it 3 wide, but thought better of it on Adam Gracie. So now the main goal for these drivers are to catch back up to Colt Ansley and John Bittler. Wiggins has a huge head of steam coming to that 86 car. Does he make a move to that top side? No, he's going to go to the bottom. Ansley thought about blocking, not able to do it. Bittler going to block the inside line. So Bittler going to lead Wiggins and the inside line, but they're pretty disconnected right there. But now Gracie going to leave Ansley out to dry. No one helping that outside line, and Ansley is going to start sliding back. Partridge and English going to jump to his inside. Ansley not able to get to the bottom lane, and with no help coming for a little bit until DeFore, I was going to say until DeFore helps him, but DeFore decides to jump to the inside line. And yeah, Ansley is the odd man out here. He's got Flournoy just at the top of the shot trying to help him out, but 2 cars is not going to overcome the might of 7+ cars on that inside line. John Bittler firmly retains the lead here at Atlanta in the All-Star race, but he's got Wiggins and Adam Gracie right behind him. He separates a little bit right behind Justin Cope and Jason Crumley, about half a second separating Cope and Crumley. And now Cope looking to the outside to get around Colton English. Wiggins thought about looking to the inside of Bittler, but wasn't able to poke his nose to the inside there. But I think he's trying to manifest a big run to where John Bittler is not able to block it. And it might be Foreman right down here on the backstretch. Does he try to go to the inside of Bittler? No, he's going to stay right behind that 88 car. So Bittler going to keep leading Gracie. I think Gracie's going to go wherever Wiggins goes to try and move himself up a position, because if Wiggins can get side by side with Bittler, I think with help from Gracie, he can essentially force him out of the way. But a little bit of internet issues for Gracie. But Justin Cope working his way on the outside around Ray Partridge for the 4th position. Going to get a little bit of a tow from Adam Gracie as he pokes his nose to the outside for a second. Colton English looking to follow Cope around that 29 car. But I tell you what, the only car that has been able to make that outside line work seems to be that 59 of Cope. Crumley going to try to push Partridge to hold off Justin Cope. But Cope's still holding very strong. Oh, a little bit loose for car 59. And now Crumley going to move to the high side to get around Partridge. So Partridge now the odd man out, or odd man in really, since he's on the inside. But I think Cope's going to be able to clear Partridge coming down the back straightaway here. But does he ditch Jason Crumley to gain 1 position? Looks like he's not going to be up for it. So coming out of turn 4, Partridge and Cope side by side as they cross the stripe. Give the advantage to Ray Partridge with 34 laps to go here at Atlanta. Or 35, I apologize. 35 laps to go here at Atlanta. but John Bittler still leading the way. Brian Wiggins still all over his back bumper, but not able to make a move. Maybe he's trying to build a gap between him and Gracie before trying to pull anything on that 88 car. Further in the back, Mark Sakoshi has just gone past Jonathan Flournoy and Colt Ansley. So that 8 car is working its way through the field, but he's got a 2.7 second gap to make up to Adam DeFore if he wants any shot of getting back to the front, unless another caution comes out. Jason Crumley locked himself in through the fan vote, trying to peek to the inside of Colton English. English going to block it off right there. But Gracie is now caught back up to Brian Wiggins. And that top 3 has a pretty big gap between Gracie and Partridge. But Partridge is slowly closing in on that 17 car, so it might be a 4-car party up front, and even more cars might be joining in if Justin Cope is able to attach himself to the back end of this lead group of cars right here. Racing getting gradually more spread out behind Bittler. I think we saw Wiggins get a little bit loose on entry to turn number 3, but Bittler doing a great job of leading the way here at Atlanta. 31 laps to go here. But the question is, if Wiggins makes a move, he needs Adam Gracie to go with him. And I think if he's going to make a move, he has to do it sooner rather than later, before that 29 of Partridge comes and potentially helps Bittler out in holding his position. Because Wiggins is getting great runs down the back straightaway. I thought about going low for a second, but wasn't able to get to the inside of Bittler just yet. He just needs Gracie to commit with him. I think once that happens, these two might be able to get around Bittler with one little slip up from that 88 car. But so far, we haven't seen any slip ups, but he's entering really high. Here comes Wiggins, forcing his way to the inside of Bittler for a lead change. Clips the apron a little bit. That's going to hurt his exit speed, and this is going to allow Partridge and Cope to catch up. Gracie needs to push as hard as he can to get Wiggins past that 88 car, and it looks like Wiggins is going to be able to clear John Bittler for the lead. Gracie's not going to be able to be clear, so he's going to be stuck pushing Wiggins as Bittler is going to try and get that lead back from the 3 car. But as of right now, we have a new leader in Brian Wiggins, car number 3, leading the way here. But Bittler is able to slot in right behind Gracie. Does Bittler try to jump to the inside of Wiggins? Looks like not yet. But with that one move, that's allowed Partridge and Cope to join the party. As here comes Gracie to the inside of Bittler. Wiggins going to go high through the front straightaway, but he's going to cut down low, and that's going to remove all the draft from Bittler. So Bittler's going to slide back a little bit now, since he has no help on that outside line. He's really wishing that he had a Mark Sakoshi with him right now, but unfortunately that is not the case. See Ray Partridge going way higher, trying to build up a run on that outside line. And Bittler and Cope going for blows across the start-finish line. Side by side for third. Cope might be able to get around 88. It looks like he won't. Bittler's going to have a huge head of steam thanks to the draft on the outside down the front or down the back straightaway. And now he's going to try to go high on Gracie, but not able to get to him just yet. And now Justin Cope having to deal with Ray Partridge on his outside. So Partridge preventing Cope from tracking out as much as he wants, but that doesn't matter. Cope's gonna get ahead of Partridge. Bittler's gonna try to go to the outside of Gracie once again, but doesn't have the run necessary. He has the car. He just needs someone to go with him to hold off a charge from another line. Now Cope gonna try to go to the outside of Bittler. Looks like Partridge is going to follow Cope through there through the outside as well to relegate that 88 car further back. Wiggins doing a good job of leading this group of cars right now. Bittler's going to be able to clear Cope, so Bittler retains third. But it makes you wonder how much is Bittler using up in terms of car for running that outside line, because you're typically harder on your car when you're driving on that outside line compared to running behind someone else on the inside, as Cope goes way high up the track. And he's going to almost be under fire from Partridge. But Brian Wiggins, ever since making that move on John Bittler, able to wrestle the lead away. And Adam Gracie hasn't been able to come up with a response to car number 3 just yet. Might require the help of that 88 right behind him to make an answer for Brian Wiggins. But they've got 22 laps to decide it here. And does Bittler try to go to the inside? But caution is out.
Slow her down.
And let me just make sure that was an admin caution. Yes, it was. So Brian Wiggins leading the way here as the caution comes out with 21 laps to go. And I believe this will be the final segment of the National Sim Racing All-Star Race. So Wiggins in a very favorable position with 20 laps to go here. But now the question is, does Mark Sakoshi pit again for any extra damage repair that he has to get done, or does he stay, or does he only go in for tires and fuel to maximize track position to try and get back up to his teammate and hopefully propel one of them to an all-star victory? But crucial pit stop coming in right now. As Dawson Kent is off of the lead lap. Adam Gracie all over the back end of Brian Wiggins. Well, let's take a peek at Mark Sakoshi to see if he's going to come out as soon as the jack drops, and he's getting another set of tires on. Does he roll off? Actually, it looks like he's going to get any extra damage repaired on that number 8 car. So John Bittler going to lead the way here He's going to pull out ahead of Wiggins, and he's got Colt Ansley starting right next to him, or actually going to be right behind him. I apologize. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Wiggins is going to. Actually getting word from race control that I believe Brian Wiggins. Brian Wiggins and Adam Gracie have received end-of-line penalties for too fast entering pit road. So that is a big blow to both of them, as they're going to have to start less than 20 laps to go with the entire field in front of them. So your top 5 right now is John Bittler, Colt Ansley, Justin Cope, Ray Partridge, and Adam DeFore. And the double whammy for Brian Wiggins is that since it's an end-of-line penalty, both him and Gracie are going to have to start behind Tony Kurgel, who is 13 laps down. But to their credit, they have a fully repaired car, so they won't be lacking on speed or anything. It's just that's one extra car that they'll have to get around if they want a shot at winning the National Sim Racing All-Star Race. But we will be restarting with 17 laps to go here at Atlanta. A very crucial restart, assuming we don't get any more cautions. But you know what they say, cautions breed cautions. And it's going to be John Bittler leading the way to the green flag here. Field stacks up just a little bit behind him. Green flag is out. A good start for Bittler and Cope. Ansley not able to get as good of a start as Bittler. So he's going to be side by side with Justin Cope. Partridge already going to try to sneak into that inside line. Ansley's going to block as hard as he can. Ansley's going to be able to fit into that gap by the hair of his chin. And now Bittler going to have to block with all that he can to hold off Justin Cope. Hard charging down the back straightaway. Cope all over the back end of Bittler. Cope going to look high around that 88 car. He's there coming into turn 1, but he's going to fall right back into line. Here comes Partridge on the high side with help from DeFore. Partridge is going to be to the outside of Cope. Bittler's going to jump to the high side. He's going to drop back to the bottom to block all the lanes that he possibly can. Colton English in the wall up top. That's gonna lose his momentum, and that's right in front of Gracie and Wiggins too. Partridge in third has a pretty big gap between him and DeFore. That's not going to help him at all in terms of speed. Colt Ansley's going to be pushing Justin Cope as hard as he can. Justin Cope looking to make a move on Bittler. Goes high, ducks low. He's to the inside of John Bittler. Great move by Justin Cope to get to the inside of Bittler. But Bittler has a great car, and all he needs is some help behind. And he has a much closer friend in Ray Partridge helping him, and he's going to propel right like a rocket ship right ahead of Justin Cope to retake the lead. Big wiggles from the outside of Partridge. Ansley goes around hard into the outside. Well, that collects Sakoshi. That collects Chris Norris as well. Colton English, you see the hood up at the top of the shot. That 86 car is absolutely destroyed here with 14 laps to go, and we're going to have a replay of it. So looking at the replay, looking at Colt Ansley right now, tries to drop to the bottom to get to Cope, but Jonathan Flournoy is there, and Ansley just cuts across the nose of that 0-2, and then gets just hit from the back from Sakoshi. Nowhere for Sakoshi to go, and you gotta feel horrible for Chris Norris and Colton English. Nowhere for either of them to go as as Ansley just got rocketed into that outside wall. Great avoidance by Dawson Kent, even if he's lapped down, to not hit the out of control 45 car. But that is going to end the night for Colt Ansley and Chris Norris as well. Both of those cars with heavy damage. You can see Colton English can barely see out of his windshield with the hood all the way up like that. Mark Sakoshi doesn't have a right front tire, so that's probably going to be the end of his race as well. But Bittler got the help when he needed it the most, because he was able to get ahead of Cope as they crossed the or as the caution flag flew, with help from Ray Partridge. So Bittler is still in a very good position, but Cope has a car capable of challenging that number 88 Chevy Monte Carlo. Believe we will have 10 laps to go once this caution period ends. Your top 5 at the moment is John Bittler, Justin Cope, Ray Partridge, Adam DeFore, and Adam Gracie, recovering from that end of line penalty, up to 5th. So a good bit of driving from him to get back up to that position without any damage to that number 17. See Wiggins at the top of the shot. He really didn't go anywhere from his end of line penalty. He's still in 7th, but he doesn't have any lap cars in front of him now. But he's going to have a bunch of people not looking to give up their spots at all ahead of him. So Bittler going to lead this field to the green flag. When he crosses the stripe, we will have 10 laps to go here at we'll have 10 laps to go here at Atlanta. Pace car lights are off, so it will be going into the pit lane this time by coming into turn 3. If we don't get another caution, this will be the final restart of the night here. And I'm hoping that there won't be any more cautions after this, so we can have a nice run to the finish to close out this all-star race. It's going to be John Bittler and Justin Cope leading both lanes of very hungry cars for $1 million here. Base car is in. It's up to John Bittler to hit the lap pedal. Green flag is out. Good start for Bittler. Not a good start at all for Ray Partridge. And Justin Cope's going to be able to slot in to that bottom lane almost, as Ray Partridge making it a little bit hard for Cope to get to that bottom lane. Adam DeFore stuck all the way up top. No one to help him out. But Bittler with a big gap to Justin Cope. But sometimes you got to wonder, is it too big of a gap to the car behind? Because Justin Cope coming with a big head of steam, going to try and pull a move on John Bittler once again. Bittler goes to the middle, then drops down low. Here comes Justin Cope with a huge run. Coming across the stripe, he'll lead that lap. And he's going to clear John Bittler coming into turn 1. Will he be able to get to the bottom before Bittler does? Looks like he'll almost be able to. Oh, but contact with Bittler. Huge contact. Oh, my good gracious. That's the entire field involved in an accident with 9 laps to go after John Bittler and Justin Cope make contact entering turn 1. holy hellacious, as we have a massive accident that definitely requires a replay. But that was pretty much the entire field. The entire field involved in that. So let's get a replay going. And this is going to require the super slow motion. So currently looking at Justin Cope. He's clear of John Bittler. Almost. Tries to go low. Bittler is not letting off, thinking that he might be able to sneak to the inside of Cope, and just barely tags the quarter panel of Justin Cope, and that just shot Bittler up the track right into Ray Partridge. You can see Adam Gracie getting involved. Same with Flournoy. DeFore involved, and Ray Partridge getting carried above literally the entire field. And I think the only person to get out of that scot-free is the 28 of Jason Crumley. I think he is the only driver to not get involved in that accident. We're going to have to take a look on the roll bar for this, but this might be Jason Crumley's parting the seas moment right here. At full speed, not a single car hit him. The seas just parted for Jason Crumley like Moses, and he's able to go from the back to the front with 7 laps to go. And I honestly, the only car behind him is the very damaged number 59 of Justin Cope. And everyone else is in pit lane. DeFore's in pit lane. Wiggins is in pit lane. Gracie's in pit lane. All of these cars with very heavy damage. Bittler's in pit lane. Flournoy, Partridge is definitely destroyed. Sakoshi still doesn't have a right front, but yeah, everyone is in pit lane, and the only clean car at the end of this is Jason Crumley, who made it in through the fan vote. I want to stress this point. Jason Crumley did not make it through the Open. He made it through the fan vote off of a tiebreaker with Dawson Kent with 10 votes. And he quite literally might be the only car that can run at a normal race speed. Pace car lights are off. Your top 5 at the moment is Jason Crumley, Justin Cope, who doesn't have a rear end, Brian Wiggins, who doesn't have a front end and is just getting out of pit lane, and then Adam DeFore, who's still in pit lane a lap down, and then Adam Gracie, who's still in pit lane a lap down. So, I mean, Brian Wiggins is going to try and catch the field as fast as possible. And Tony Kurgel is 15 laps down, so he really doesn't have any fight in this. I think he's just looking to complete this race to completion. But if I'm Jason Crumley, I am going to the gas station tomorrow and getting a scratch-off ticket, because he might be the luckiest guy on iRacing right now, as he's going to be competing for, or as he's now become the definite favorite for $1 million in National Sim Racing money to his name. And all he has to do is make it 6 more laps as the only car without damage. There's only 4 cars
Green, green, green.
coming to the green flag. Jason Crumley is going to get a good start. Kirchhoff is going to clear Cope coming into turn 1. Cope is struggling in that banged up 59. You can see Wiggins is having a similar ride of a time trying to get up to speed. Adam Gracie's back out on track, but it's just Jason Crumley and then the 13 last season's champion Tony Kirchhoff 15 laps down, looking to close out this chaotic all-star race. That's really the only word I can think of it, is chaotic. It was very calm for most of it, and then the last 20 laps have just been absolute chaos. But as a speed comparison, Jason Crumley and Tony Kirchhoff are running about 183 miles per hour right now. Justin Cope, at the moment, running 165. So about a 18 mile per hour speed difference between first and second really shows just how destroyed the field is after that Bittler and Justin Cope accident. Two laps to go for Jason Crumley to get $1 million deposited into his National Sim Racing account. And all he has is 2 or 1.5 laps to make it to the end. And a car 15 laps down, filling up his rearview mirror. White flag in the air for Jason Crumley. I don't think that he's ever won a National Sim Racing race before. I might be mistaken on that. But he's going to be one happy camper tonight as the only car to make it through a field-encompassing wreck within the last 10 laps of the race. Jason Crumley is going to win the National Sim Racing All-Star Challenge through the fan vote at Atlanta. You couldn't write a script wackier than this. This is National Sim Racing, where the craziest things can happen to people. And if I'm Jason Crumley, I'm taking this win in stride. Let's go through your finishing results, as I'm sure Jason Crumley is going to be doing the best burnout of his life, and he doesn't even get credited that because the session time expired. But your top 5 is going to be Jason Crumley, Justin Cope, Brian Wiggins, Adam Gracie, Adam DeFore, rounding out your top 5. In 6th, it's going to be Jonathan Flournoy, who had a respectable all-star race up until the entire field died within 10 laps to go. John Bittler led most of this race, comes home 7th. Ray Partridge in 8th. Colton English in 9th. And Mark Sakoshi led a lot of this race to come home, rounding out your top 10. First car outside of the top 10 is going to be Colt Ansley in car number 86, with Chris Norris in car 56 right behind him. Tony Kirchhoff, car 13, 15 laps down, comes home in 13th. Dawson Kent comes home in 14th in car number 27. Robert Wiggins in the 26th, 15th. And Nicholas Pressey rounds out your field of 16 drivers. Don't go anywhere. I'm sure we're probably going to have some very interesting interviews coming out with the top 3 drivers here. Don't go anywhere, because interviews will be in just one moment. Please stand by. Man, oh man, we're back for driver interviews, and let's get our race winner into the booth. Your National Sim Racing All-Star Challenge winner, Jason Crumley. Let's get him into the booth. Coming home with the All-Star win by the fan vote, it's going to be Jason Crumley, car number 28, coming home P1. How you feeling, man?
That race, that one made me nervous. I really do not know how I survived the carnage right there at the end, but that was a very tough race to get through.
Well, take us through that last wreck, because we on the broadcast we had a roll bar shot of you, and it looked like you were Moses parting the seas. So
that's kind of what it felt like. I mean, because I saw it going to happen. My teammate was sideways, and I saw it, and then I just kind of ducked down, and somehow just, like I said, it just squeaked through. It gave me like a 2X, and I was like, did I hit anything? I don't know what I hit. So, yeah, that was very crazy. I've never had a race where that's been that intense for me.
well, either way, you came out smelling like a bunch of roses, because you were the only car to not receive damage throughout the entire race. But I wanna step back a little bit to earlier in the race. Like, as the race was progressing, of course, you don't know there's going to be a field-ending wreck happening right in front of you. How are you feeling around like lap 60 or so, when the end of the race is in sight, and you're more or less hanging into the back of the top 10?
Oh, out there. I mean, I was making sure that I was keeping up with the guys in front of me, but at the same time, kind of holding back a little bit so that I wasn't in any kind of wreck. Because at one point, I don't know exactly what lap it was on, but I believe it was when Sikosi had an incident where they wrecked. They took me 3 wide, and I started backing up. And right as my car started backing up in that field, there was a crash right there in front of me, and I was like, "How?" Thankfully that it happened. I hate that it happened to those other guys, but I'm thankful that by me backing out a little bit, that it did happen in front of me, and I wasn't collected in that, because I was right there with them.
Well, either way, you played all your cards right, and you're getting a nice big National Sim Racing check for $1 million deposited to your National Sim Racing account. So before we let you go and celebrate your win just a little bit more, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank before we let you go?
Shoot, I want to thank my family. I want to thank the good Lord for giving me air to breathe and be able to do this. It's fun. I want to thank Sikosi for, putting on this event. Everybody that is in this race, awesome job. I'll shout out to my teammate. I know he came home second, but I'd like to take the win so that he don't get it, but I really do appreciate it.
Well, that's Jason Crumley coming home, your winner for the National Sim Racing All-Star Challenge. We look forward to seeing you next week, when I believe we're going to South Boston.
All right.
All right, and it looks like Justin Cope has left the interview booth, so we will just go straight to Brian Wiggins in car number 3. Coming home third, it's Brian Wiggins in car number 3. Involved in the biggest wreck that I've personally ever seen in a National Sim Racing race. Tell us what happened during that wreck with about 8 to go.
Cope got a run. He pulled to the outside of Bittler, and he tried to cut down in front of Bittler, and Bittler kind of got into his left rear. It's, type of thing that happens at these plate tracks. So I'm really not mad. If I'm in Cope's shoes, I probably have done the same thing. If I'm in Bittler's shoes, I probably have done the same thing. So, it is what it is.
Yeah, and the damage totals for accidents like that can go up super quickly with just one small racing incident. But you were fast all night prior to the Armageddon-sized wreck that happened. So how was your car feeling throughout the entirety of the race? Because I know that there were a lot of cars starting to falter off in terms of speed towards like the end or the longer end of a run. So, but you seemed pretty consistent all the way through. So I want to know how your car was feeling.
Oh no, yeah, my car was great. I could put it anywhere. I could run it low, top, and even at the end of the runs there, I was able to keep it down in the bottom. That's how I was actually able to pick off a lot of guys there in that first run. They started drifting up in the corners, and I'm able to keep it at the very bottom. So I think it was like halfway through that first run, my teammate Ray is like, "Brian, you got the best car in this field, man." So I was like, "Oh, all right, cool." But yeah, no, it was great.
Well, it's a good thing that this race doesn't count for points, or else there'd be a lot of very angry people who happen to race National Sim Racing. But before we let you go and ride the good momentum of a third place finish in the All-Star race into South Boston next weekend, do you have any people or sponsors you want to thank before we let you go?
Yeah, gotta thank John Bittler, IRD Fuel Systems for sponsoring this series. Gotta thank you, Garrett, for doing a great job in the booth. Gotta thank Mark for running this whole league, doing all. Nobody has any idea what he does behind the scenes. There's so much work, but I do appreciate it. And I gotta thank Mark again for all the years of him teaching me how to set these things up and things like that. And of course, got to thank my teammates, last but not least, Ray and Adam, that were here racing with us tonight. And that's about it, man.
Well, Brian Wiggins, car number 3, coming home P3, not too bad in the All-Star race. Looking forward to seeing what you can do next week at South Boston.
I can't wait, man. We'll see you then.
All right. And with that all said and done, we can start to wrap things up here in the National Sim Racing All-Star Challenge here at Atlanta. Thank you for watching the National Sim Racing All-Star Challenge presented by IRD Racing here at Atlanta on my YouTube channel. Normally, this would be on Fireball Talks NASCAR, but I wasn't able to get the link for the stream on his channel in time, so I had to make it myself. So very big thanks to you for watching this. Thank you to SKS Graphics and Andrew Schulte for their tickers and help with the ticker. Can't do this type of thing without them. Big thanks to John Bittler and IRD Racing for sponsoring this series and making this broadcast possible. And also thank you again, the viewer, for watching the National Sim Racing All-Star Challenge presented by IRD Racing. My name is Garrett Hess. You're watching my YouTube channel. And next week, hopefully, we'll be back on FTN for South Boston short track racing in the Gen 4 Cup Series. Should be tons of fun. Looking forward to seeing you there. Y'all take